Good morning, everyone.
弟兄们早安。
Beautiful day today, isn't it?
今天是一个非常美好的日子，是不是？
Isn't it almost October now?
现在差不多是10月了，
It's still 90-some degrees. Well, I think it's cooling off a little bit for the
仍
first
旧是90度以上。我想下个星期可能会慢慢就冷下来。
Yeah, I was out of town last week on a business trip to Europe.
上个星期我到欧洲去公事，
It was pretty cold.
那边是相当寒冷的。
So coming back here, it's like, wow, it's nice and warm. I can only wear T-shirts.
回到这里哇，又温暖，我只能够穿这个短袖的衣服。
Glad to be back here with you all.
非常高兴能够回来跟大家一起。
Do you guys all know the reason of singing songs, praising God before the worship starts?
大家知不知道为什么在敬拜之前会这个颂赞赞美？
Actually, it's part of the worship, right? To sing.
大家知道唱诗赞美主是这是敬拜的一部分。
So thank you for the praise team and the praise offering.
谢谢诗班先生还有这女唱的。
For those of you that don't sing usually at home, this is the chance to really sing it out loud.
但是你在家里不愿意唱的，在这里是最好的时候给你
Because
大声的唱出来。
guess who is listening?
你想谁在听？
It's not the person next to you.
不是你旁边的人在听你唱，
It's God.
是我们的主。
You're praising God.
你在赞美我们的神，
He created all of us
他创造我们一切，
with a unique voice.
每一个有特别的声音。
Some sounds good, some don't.
有些人听得很好听，可能有些听得不是那么好听
To。ourselves, but to Him it's unique, right?
这是对我们之后对别人说，但对神来说都是好的。
So let's, just like today, we are glorifying God, and God knows that we're
第二
glorifying.
天，今天我们荣耀神，神也知道我们荣耀他。
Let's bow our heads.
我们一起来低头祷告。
The Heavenly Father,
亲爱的天父，
we thank you so much for this wonderful day.
我们感谢你给我们这美好的日子。
We have have our retreat recently.
我们最近有这个退休会，
It was such a wonderful time for us to get away from the busy lives.
对我们来说真的是个美好的时间在我们忙碌的时间里面能够退下来。
And we're back in our home church now.
实际上，我们又回到你教会里面，
This is your place.
这是你的地方。
When we sing to you,
当我们在歌颂你的时候，
when we praise to you,
当我们在称赞、赞美你的时候，
you listen.
你听，
Create us a clean heart.
给我们造我们一个清洁的心，
So that open our hearts so that whatever we receive comes from you.
害我们的心，当我们领受的一切都是从你而来。
Lord, we ask that you open my mouth today,
就求你开我的口，
for whatever I say comes from you,
不管我说了什么，都是从你而来，
nowhere else.
没有别人。
The idea is to glorify you, is to learn your words.
主要是要能够荣耀你，能够学习你的话语。
And we thank you for that.
我们感谢你，
We're praying in the name of Jesus
我们
Christ.
在祷告奉主耶稣基督的圣名求，
Amen.
阿门。
Today we're going to talk about wisdom.
今天我们要跟大家讨论的题目就是智慧。
How many of you have wisdom?
我们中间谁有智慧呢？有多少人有智慧呢？
All of us have wisdom.
我们都大家
Amen.
听。
Right? So let me start. My wife just loves me when I say that type of stuff.
他这个理想
She's a big fan of me.
他对是非常崇拜的。
Okay. All right, let's start.
我开始，
A hiker arrived at the bank of a raging river. He's needing to cross the river.
一个徒步旅行者呢，他来到一个急流的河岸旁边呢，
Desperately, he prayed to God.
他要渡过河那边，他那时候就很拼命的向神祷告，
He said, "Oh God, give me strength to overcome this challenge."
他就给我力量，我能够克服这个挑战。
And what God did.
你想在神做什么呢
Poof, God gave him a pair of strong arms.
？Bingo，神给了一个很强壮的这个手臂。
And then he responded by saying, "Oh, thank you, God, for giving me this strong hand."
他反应说谢谢主啊，你给我个强壮的手，
And he jumped right into the river.
然后就立刻就跳到河里去。
Look at that, that's pretty rough water. So it took him an hour to swim across.
你看看这水流多急，他要花了1个小时才能够流到对岸。
And the second hiker arrived in the same spot.
第二个旅行这个这个研究者来到这个同一个地点，
He did the same thing. He prayed to God.
他做了同样的东西，他就向神祷告，
Give me the strength and the tools for me to overcome this challenge.
给我力量，也给我工具，能够克服这个挑战。
Poof, God gave him a pair of strong arms
不，神也是给他给了一个很强壮的手，
and a little tiny rowboat.
还有一个小小的这个滑梯。
He praised God and he hopped onto the boat.
他赞美神，他就跳进这个亭子，
It took him 30 minutes to paddle across
他
the
要
river.
花了30分钟才能够划过去对岸。
A third hiker arrived
第三个来到这里，
and he said, "Oh God, give me wisdom to overcome this challenge."
他说：“神啊，给我智慧，能够克服这个
He turned into a woman.
他变成妇女，
He, now she,
他这个妇女
pull out a map,
就从拿了一个地图来，
found a bridge upstream.
在地图看到河的上游
He walked across in 1 minute.
有一条桥，他就5分钟就走过这
So
条桥。
watch out what you pray for next time for wisdom.
所以下一次当你祷告要求智慧的时候，你要小心。
So at least I got the women interested in my sermon today.
至少今天我的这个讲道，很多妇女都会关注。
Okay, here it goes.
好，我们来到正题了啊。
So when I open up my Bible,
当我打开我圣经的时候，
on the inside cover, I recorded a date.
在我的圣经的封面里那一页呢，我记录了一个日子。
It says April 8th, 2003.
他说4月8号2003年。
That's the date when I finished reading the entire Bible from cover to
这
cover.
个日子就是我从一页一页从头到尾念完圣经的时间。
So during my journey reading through the Bible, I came across a book right in the middle.
在我读这个圣经的这个整个过程当中，我就看到这本书。
Normally, you would skip that Bible
一般上这个书你都会跳过，
because sometimes in English, people can't even pronounce the name.
在英文有时候你连这个字都不能够这个发音出来。
But it's definitely one of my favorite books.
但是这绝对是我最喜爱的一部书，
That's the book of
这
Ecclesiastes.
就是传道书。
The name is translated from Greek meaning assembly preacher.
传道书是从希腊文翻译，就是集会的传道者。
The main question asked in that book is, what is life all about?
这部书里面主要的问题是生命到底生命是什么，
Or what is the meaning of life?
或者说生命的意义是什么？
How many of you have ever asked yourself this
我
question?
们当中有多少人曾经问过这样的问题？
Is there a particular reason why you're here today?
今天你在这里是有什么特殊的原因吗？
Are you here in this world for a purpose?
你在这个世界上是有目的的吗？
Is there a plan for each one of us?
对我们每个人是不是有一个计划呢？
Or you just randomly existed in this universe
或者是随机，就是在这个宇宙中存在，
without a purpose nor a reason?
没有理由，也没有目的。
What is the meaning of life?
到底什么是生命的意义呢？
Even Snoopy asked that question.
即使这个史努比也发问同样的问题：
Where am I going?
到底往哪里去？
What am I doing?
我在这里做什么？
And what is the meaning of life?
到底生命的意义是什么？
Or you can try Google it.
或者你可以试试用谷歌啦，寻找一下。
When you try Google it, this is probably one of the comments that come up.
当你谷歌的时候，你会看到这个图画。
Or it will come out, what's the meaning of life? Monty Python. How many of you have watched that movie?
或者你会发现到出来的就是Monty Python，就是巨蟒剧团所拍的一套电影，多少人看过这个电影？
Pretty cool, right? Blue said give me the thumbs up for that movie.
酷啊，很有意思啊。
And King Solomon is believed to be author of the book.
这本书的作者大家都相信是所罗门王。
When you ask the children in our Sunday school classes what was the greatest king of Israel,
当你问我们主日学的孩子的时候，说以色列最伟大的皇帝是谁呢？
who will they say?
你想他会说谁呢？
King David, maybe.
大卫
Right?
王，
King David?
大卫王是不是？
Or maybe they'll say King Solomon.
或者有些会说是所罗门王。
But King Solomon is well known for his wisdom.
所罗门王闻名之是他的智慧。
Remember the story about King Solomon judging the real mother of a contested baby?
记不记得所罗门王在判断谁是这个争论性的这个婴孩的母亲吗？这个故事吗？
And do you also remember the conversation between God and Solomon?
你记不记得神跟所罗门王之间的这个交谈吗？
From 2 Chronicle 1, it says, I'll read, Therefore wisdom and knowledge will be given to you, and I will also give you wealth, possessions, and honor, such as no king who was before you ever had, and none after you will have.
在历代之下，这里记载说12节，我必赐你智慧、聪明，也必赐你财宝、丰富、尊荣，在你以前的列王都没有这样，在你以后也没有这样。
So when the wisest person speak up about the meaning of life,
所以当这个最聪明的人在说这个生命的意义的时候，
King Solomon, we have to listen.
就是说所罗门王我们要听。
So it has been said that what King David won through wars,
有人说大卫王靠着战争的胜利，
King Solomon preserved through peace.
那么所罗门呢就借助这个和平来保持。
And yet there was a dark side of King Solomon.
但是所罗门有一个黑暗的一面，
He gradually turned away from God.
他逐渐的离开了神。
And he wrote this book when he was in his years.
他写这本书的时候是在晚年的时候，
It was a one-man search of the meaning of life outside of God.
这是有关于一个人在寻求生命的意义，但是在神以外。
Remember, we're talking about outside of God.
既然我们是说是在神以外，
Outside of God, he searched in education and wisdom.
在神以外，他去寻求，在这个教育和这个智慧去寻求。
He searched in wild living,
他在疯狂的生活里面去寻求，
like through amusement, pleasure, laughter, and madness. He had it all.
这叫享乐，这叫欢乐，这叫欢笑，这叫疯狂的生命。他这是一切都是寻找过的。
He searched in work,
他在工作里寻找，
through buildings projects like temple, palaces, vineyards, garden, water pools, and parks. He built them all.
这种各项的建筑的这个项目，比如说庙宇啦、宫殿啦、花园啦，还有就是各种的不同的这个建筑的这个项目。
He also searched in wealth,
他也在财富里面去寻找，
gold and silvers, jewelry, ivory, servants, herds, everything. He had them all.
黄金、珠宝，一切的这些东西。
By the way, do you know how rich was King Solomon?
顺便提一下，问大家，你知道所罗门有多富有吗？
He was so rich that, as recorded in 1 Kings 10, verse 14,
他这么富有呢，在列王记里边曾经记载过。
so he received 666 talents of gold per year
他每年得到666个他连的金子，
from all over the neighboring countries that brought gold to him.
那些就是朝拜他的附近的这个国家呢，就是带这个黄金给他。
So one talent is about 75 pounds of gold.
一个他连的黄金大概是75
One
英镑，
ounce of gold nowadays is $1,500 US.
一个盎司的金现在大概是1500美元，
So it's about $1.3 billion in
所以
today's term.
每年他都达到10亿左右的这个美元，
Every year.
每年哦。
And that's just gold, not counting silver and bronze and ivory and everything else.
这
That's
只是
just
这
gold.
单说黄金，还没有算其他的这个金银珠宝的东西。
And the Bible also said that he made 200 large shields.
圣经还记载说他制造了200个这个大的这个盾牌，
Out of gold, each weighed 600 shekels of gold.
每一个盾牌都是用金做的，大概用每一个盾牌大概
600 shekels, which is about
600
15
个
pounds.
色克令，
So it's about 15 pounds each.
大概15磅一个大盾牌，
Over $350,000 per shield.
大概350万人民每个35万每个盾牌，
So he was really rich and he had it all.
所以他是非常非常的富有，他可以说是拥有一切。
Surprisingly, he said the search result was vanity,
但是
meaningless.
很奇妙的时候，他说他在寻找的时候，他所寻找得到的就是虚空。
He referred to it as chasing of the wind.
他在书里说他就是捕风。
How many of you have chased the wind before?
你们有多少人曾经去捕捉这个风？
How many of you have you caught any wind?
有多少人能够抓到这个风？
If you try that, you'll be running out of air before you can catch it.
然后你去抓的话，你这是可能就是喘气都捉不到。
So nothing fills the void, nothing satisfied him.
没有东西可以填满他的空隙，也没有任何事物可以填满他的。
And the conclusion is life without God at the very end is meaningless.
所以总结来说，假如你的生命没有神，是空虚的，是没有意义。
When God is out of the picture,
当
meaningless.
神不在里面的时候，
So this book ought to be studied by all of us, including our young adults.
这本书呢，我们每个人都应该包括我们当中的青少年。
Today we're going to focus our time in chapter 5.
今天我们把我们的时间关注在第5章。
Solomon reminded us about 4 things you do not want to do.
所罗门这里提醒我们有4样东西你不可做的。
Solomon in verse 1 to 3 says, Don't blame God for your situations.
第1到第3节这里，所罗门说：“不要埋怨神，你是所处境，你现在的处境。”
In verse 1, he said, "Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. Go to listen rather than to offer the sacrifice of fools, who do not know what they do wrong."
第1节怎么说呢？我讲第1节说：“你到神的殿要谨慎脚步，因为近前听，胜过愚昧人献祭。他们本不知道所做的是恶。”
Solomon said that we are to walk carefully before God.
所罗门告诉我们，在神的面前要小心步行。
Watch your step, especially when you're bringing your heavy burden to Him.
当你把你的重担带到神的面前，你要小心。
You need to carefully lay down your burden at His feet rather than violently throw it at Him.
你要小心的来到他面前，把你的重担交在他面前，而不是很重的就丢在他的脚前。
When we go through tragedies and difficulties and trials,
当我们经历不幸、悲痛或者是灾难的时候，
even though if we're believers,
即使我们是信主的人，
our first reaction is what?
我们第一个反应是什么呢？
We usually point up there and say, "Hey, why this happens to me?"
很多时候我们就把指头向天指说，为什么这事会降临到我身上？
Sometimes we ask ourselves, "Hey, blame God for everything that is wrong in our lives."
有时候会说我们就埋怨神，我们所经历的一切都是神带来的。
Solomon warned us not to do that and walk carefully in front of God.
所罗门警告我们不要这么说，我们要在神的面前要小心。
Watch your steps when you go before God with any accusations.
我们要小心走到神的面前的时候，不要带有任何的这个控诉。
Sometimes you just don't understand why it happens.
有时候我们不知道这事情怎么会发生。
We like to complain and whine sometimes, but we all do that.
有时候我们喜欢埋怨或者是发牢骚，我们每个人都会做这事情。
We know that God is in heaven and we're down on earth.
我们知道神是在天堂，我们在地上。
And we're on earth and our visions are very limited.
我们在地上，我们的视野是非常的狭窄，
Like a frog in a well.
就好像一个青蛙在井里面。
Maybe if you could see what God sees, you won't be saying that type of stuff.
假如你能够看到神所看到的，你可能就不会说你刚才说的话。
We know that He'll always prepare the best for us.
你要知道，他时常为我们准备最好的。
In the verses that we read earlier, also Solomon refers to, hey, it needs to remind us that let our words be few. You probably heard about that Bible verse.
所以刚我们所念的经文里，可能也讲到，这时候说到说我们要少说话语。
When you go and talk to God, you don't throw a bunch of babbling in front of Him, especially when you pray.
当我们向神说话的时候，我们不向神丢出很多的话语，或尤其是我们在祷告的时候，
He knows what you're about to say already.
因为他一早就知道你要说什么了。
So don't be a fool babbling relentlessly in front of Him.
不要好像一味人这样糊里糊涂乱说话。
It's like a man had a busy day, experienced dream after dream all night long. Just tell him what you need. He knows it.
就好像一个人，他一天晚上就忙忙碌碌在做梦，你只要跟神说你所需要的就好。
So do not blame God,
不要埋怨神。
and that's the first don't.
第一就是第一个不可做的事。
What about secondly, according to King Solomon?
所罗门告诉我们说，第二件事我们不可做的什么呢？
Don't bribe God.
不要贿赂神。
Verse 5 to 4 says, when you make a vow to God, do not delay to fulfill it. He has no pleasure in fools. Fulfill your vows. It is better not to make a vow than to make one and not fulfill it.
第4到第5节说，你向神许愿，偿还不可延迟，因他不喜悦愚昧人，所以你许愿不还，不如不许。
So normally when we get into a tough situations, what do?
所以，我们当遇到一个很困难的情况的时候，我们做什么呢？
Sometimes we blame God and then we bribe God.
很多时候，有时候我们就埋怨神，有时候我们就是贿赂神。
God, if you spare me from this difficulty, I'm going to do mission work somewhere.
就假如你使我脱离这个困境，我就为你到其他地方做宣教。
Don't do that. Solomon warned us not to do that with God on vows that you cannot keep.
神警告我们不要向神许愿，你不能够持守的这个愿。
In other words, don't play games with God.
换句话说，你不要跟神就是玩游戏或者是耍手段啊。
Don't bargain with God with vows.
不要跟神讨教还教。
So what should we do when we encounter challenges or difficulties?
所以当我们遇到这个挑战时，我们该怎么做呢？
We should pray to God, trust and believe in Him.
我们应该向他祷告，信靠他，信任他。
Verse 7 also say, therefore fear God.
第7节说，所以你要敬畏神，
We should fear and revere Him.
我们要敬畏神。
Fearing God create a fear of sin.
当你敬畏神的时候，你就会产生一个对罪的这个惧怕。
When you stop fearing God, you will stop fearing sin.
当你停止敬畏神，你就不再惧怕这个罪恶。
And that is a bad thing. We need to fear God.
这是个不好的事情。
What's the third don't?
第3个不可做的是什么呢？
Don't be surprised with our government.
不要对我们的政府感到惊讶。
I think most of us can relate to that in various part of the country.
或是我们每个人在世界的每个角，或者我们在国家的每个角落，都可能对这件事情都很熟悉。
So we need to be a little bit careful on talking through this here.
当我们在讲的时候，我要一点小心。
So verse 8 to 9 says, if you see the poor oppressed in a district and justice and rights denied, do not be surprised at such things, for one official is eyed by a higher one, and over them both are other higher still. The increase from the land is taken by all, the king himself profits from the fields.
第8、第9节，你若在一省之中见穷人受欺压，并多去公义公平的事，不要因此侧意，因有一位居高位的监察，在他们以上还有更高的。况且他的地的益处归众人，这是君王也受田地的公义。
So it's kind of reminded me of different types of governments that we encounter.
这里就是提醒我另外一种的这个政府。
Especially April 15, when tax times.
特别是4月15，大家就是交税的日子。
You just don't know why money keeps going out to the government.
你就不明白为什么钱一直是往政府那边去。
But Solomon reminded us that should not be surprised by our government's actions.
但是所罗门在这里说，你不要惊讶我们政府所做的这个行动，
There's nothing new under the sun.
因为在日光之下没有新事。
When you see injustice, oppression, corruption in government, do not be surprised.
当你看到政府这个欺压、政府的不公平，还有他的这个腐败，你不要惊讶。
Once I saw a sign on the desk of the Pentagon officials which read, "The secrecy of my job does not permit me to know what I'm doing."
我看到在五角大厦里面一个公务员，他桌上有写的这句话：我工作的保密性不允许我知道我在做什么。
That means that he doesn't even know what he's doing.
就是意思说他不知道自己在做什么。
Kind of remind me of our government.
这里就提醒了，就好像我们政府一样。
I don't think they know what they're doing sometimes.
有时候我想，他们真的不知道他们在做什么。
I'd like to share a little story with you real quick here.
我跟大家分享一个小小的故事。
There was one time my mother-in-law, can I share that? My mother-in-law was on a cruise ship.
一次我的岳母在一个游轮上面。
Unfortunately, she tripped in her bathroom and actually broke her upper arm.
不幸呢，在浴室里面，她不小心就跌倒，就是把上面这个手背就跌断了。
So we got a call one afternoon saying that you guys come down and pick your mother up in Honduras, a little small port in Honduras.
所以一天呢，不久一天，我们就收到一个电话说，你妈妈在洪都拉斯一个小城市里面。
I have no idea where this little small. What's the island name? I can't remember.
我记不起那个小岛的名字是什么。
It's never heard of. Is it Rotan? Yeah, Rotan, Honduras.
这是Rotan洪都拉斯。
So first we look up the map, where it is,
我们开始就从地图上去找，知道它在哪里，这个地方在哪里。
and look up Honduras.
然后就找这个洪都拉斯。
They say don't travel there. It's dangerous.
那么就警告说不要去那边，那边是危险。
So we have a rescue mission.
上面一个拯救的这个事情。
So both of us start planning a trip down there to rescue our mother.
所以我们两个就计划一个就是去救我们的父亲。
And along the way we try to call the embassy.
同时我们也联系这个大使馆。
So U.S. Embassy the conversation was very pleasant.
这跟美国大使馆之间的谈话非常的好友好。
So they said, "Don't worry, we'll help you whatever we can. We'll have somebody at the port greet your mother and then send her to the hospital."
不要担心，我们会尽可能帮，我们会有人在那个海港那边，就是带你妈妈出来。
So I said, "Wow, this is good. Let them help us."
哇，很好，那就让他来帮助我们。
When we flew down, I don't think we saw any officials.
当我们飞到那时候，没有看到任何的公务员。
So this is just a lesson for all of us that be careful about U.S. government. Sometimes you get help, most of the times you don't.
这是跟大家提醒一下，是有很多时候你跟这个美国这个公务员做事，有时你得到帮助，有时得不到帮助。
So when we met her, finally we had a chance to meet her at the hospital. She was in good spirit. Her arm was all wrapped up, and we brought her back to the state a few days later and sent her to the hospital to have it fixed up.
所以最后我们在医院里找到她，然后她精神很好，我们后来就把她带回到这里，就是去一个医院里面把她医治。
So Solomon wrote this book, this Bible, thousands of years ago.
所以所罗门王写这本书是大概2000年以前。
So when the government messes up, do not be surprised.
所以当我们的政府就是弄得一团糟的时候，你不要惊讶。
So what is a government? The government is not an institution and is not a building.
这到底是什么？是政府呢？政府不是一个机构，也不是一个建筑物。
It consists of flawed human beings.
它只是由一群充满着这个缺陷的人所组织起来的。
And we are flawed human beings too, right? All of us are flawed
我们
human
每
beings.
个人都是有缺陷的人。
Sometimes they make good decisions, sometimes they don't.
有时你做美好的这个决定，有时你做不好的决定。
It will always be like that, and it'll never change.
就政府永远都是以前是这样，将来也是会同样是这样。
So the question is, what do we need to do in that case?
所以问题是在这种情况下，我们该怎么做呢？
So when they make good decisions, we should all cheer them up.
所以当政府做美好的这个决定的时候，我们应该鼓励他，我们应该就是鼓掌。
But when they make bad decisions, we need to vent our concerns and move on.
所以当做不好的这个决定的时候，我们只能够发泄我们的这个忧虑，然后就忘了，就算了。
So government has been established by God for a purpose.
但是我们知道政府呢是神所设立的，是有它的目的的。
So we should participate in the process.
我们应该参与在整个过程当中。
So Romans 13:1 says,
罗马书第一章说
"Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those which existed are established by God."
我们应该都在政权之下，因为这个政府是神所设立的，我们都应该在他的政府之下。
So we as a believer needs to do what we can to upgrade our government.
所以作为一个信主人，我应该尽我们可能是提升我们的政府。
Through the power of our prayers and the
借助我
Holy
们
Spirit.
借助我们祷告的力量，在基督里的圣灵。
What about the fourth don't?
第四个不可做的是什么呢？
Don't believe the lie about riches.
不要相信财富所带来的谎言。
Obviously, this is a very sensitive topic.
当然，这是一个很敏感的问题。
What does Solomon has to say about this?
那所罗门在这里到底什么话说呢？
He said, "Do not believe the lie about riches," means money.
他说不要相信财富的谎言，就是指这个金钱。
So you and I included, are prone to reasoning like that.
我们你跟我都倾向于这个解释。
If we just had more money,
假如我有越多的钱，
if we are better off financially,
假如我经济上越好的话，
we would be so much better.
我们就会更好，
We'll be able to handle a lot of the difficult situations.
我们就能够在很困境的时候能够做很多事情。
Having the misconception of money will solve everything.
我们以这个错误的观念是，假如有钱就能够解决一切的问题。
Solomon warned us that money is not the answer.
所罗门警告我们说，金钱不是答案。
This is the best financial advice we get from the Bible.
在圣经里面，这是他给我们最好的这个财务的劝勉。
And Solomon wrote it many thousand years ago.
所罗门在几千年就已经写下来了。
So Solomon listed here 5 things that you need to know about money.
所罗门在这里写了5件事情，我们必须要知道的有关于这个金钱的。
The more you have, the more you want.
你越多， 有你就越想更多。
Verse 10 says, "Whoever loves money never had enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless."
第10节说，贪爱银子的不应对银子知足，贪爱丰富的也不应对利益知足，这也是虚风。
The more you have, the more you want.
你越有越多，你就越想越多。
Think of a richest person that you know of
你想想，你认识一个很富有的人，
and ask him the question. You will probably find out that if I could earn $1 more,
你问问他，你可能会发现到，他说，假如我能够再赚多1块钱。
remember the parable of the rich fool in Luke, chapter 12?
在路加12章，你记得这个一个无知的财富这个比喻吗？
He built a warehouse to store more grains.
他建造了很大的仓库，能够储藏更多的谷类。
And God said, accumulating wealth is not the solution.
神说，积蓄财宝并不是这个解决的方法。
The more you have, the more you spend.
你越有越多，你就越花费的更多。
A quote I saw the other day says,
我看到这么一句话，
"My spouse always seems to be able to spend at least 10% more than I can make."
我的配偶好像是能够比我花费10%这么多。
Always spend more than what I make.
是说我所赚到的，他能够花费10%更多，就是。
It doesn't matter whether I double my income or quadruple my income.
不管我薪水是增加了2倍或者4倍。
So verse 11, I hope that you guys can see it. It says,
第11节，
verse 11 says, "As goods increase, so do those who consume them. And when benefit are they to owners except to feast their eyes on them."
第11节，货物增添，吃的人也增添，物主得什么益处呢？不过眼看而已。
It says, the more you have, there are more people to come into your household and start eating them.
就是说，你越有越多，你就更多人来到你家里面，就是依靠你。
You suddenly have more friends.
突然之间有很多朋友。
When a man's possession increases, there's a corresponding increase of what we call them parasites that live off of you.
所以当呢财富增加的时候，你突然发现到很多这些所谓的寄生虫就仰望你，寄生在你身上。
Management consultants, lawyers, accountants, tax advisors. Suddenly, a lot of relatives show up that you never met before.
这财务财务啦、会计师啊、律师啊这类，还有就是好像海绵似的，你的亲戚就突然间就出现在眼前。
So Solomon reminded us that the more you have, the more you want. The more you have, the more you spend.
所以所罗门就说提醒我们说，你越来多，你就越想要更多，越花费的更多。
It's a very vicious cycle.
这是一个很恶性的这个循环。
What did he say next?
下面呢，接着是说什么呢？
The more you have, the more you worry.
你越多就越忧虑。
Verse 12 says, "The sleep of a laborer is sweet, whether they eat little or much, but as for the rich, their abundance permits them no sleep."
12节怎么说呢？劳碌的人不计吃多少，吃少，睡得香甜；无助的人不满，却不容易睡觉。
Solomon said, getting more money won't make you more relaxed.
所以所罗门跟我说，你越有钱越多，赚的越多钱，你就更不能够轻松。
In fact, it is the other way around.
其实这是刚好相反。
You all know John D. Rockefeller?
你们知道不知道这个约翰 Rockefeller 这个人呢？
He was the first world billionaire.
他是世界上第一个这个亿万富翁，
He earned $1 million every week,
每个星期他可以赚到100万，
but he was a sick man,
但是他是一个有病的人，
worrying too much about his wealth.
就是为了财产呢忧虑太多。
He couldn't eat. He could only eat crackers and milk.
他不能够吃正常，他只能够吃饼干和牛奶。
He cannot sleep at night.
晚上他不能够睡觉。
But he started giving money away,
后来他就开始就是把这个钱捐出去，
and his health changed drastically.
他的健康就突然之间就很大的改变。
And he lived to celebrate his 98th birthday.
他一直能够活到庆祝他98岁的这个生日。
So money is not the answer to your anxiety. Money is the cost of your anxiety.
所以金钱不是对你的焦虑的这个答案，金钱是你焦虑的这个来源。
The more you have, the more you lose.
你越拥有，你越损失的更多。
Solomon said in verse 14, "Wealth lost through some misfortune so that when you have children, there's nothing left for them to inherit.
14节怎么说呢？因遭遇祸患，这些资财就消灭。那人若生了儿子，手里也一无所有。
The more you have, the more you lose.
你越拥有，你越失去更多。
The more you have, the more you leave.
你越拥有更多，你就留下更多。
Verse 15 says, Everyone comes naked from their mother's womb, and as everyone comes, so they depart. They take nothing from their toil that they can carry in their hands.
15节说，他怎样从母胎侧身而来，也必照样侧身而去。他所劳碌得来的，手中分毫不能带去。
All the money you make in this world, you can't bring it into your coffin.
你在世界上所赚到的每一分钱都不能带到去啊。
Just like playing Monopoly. When the Monopoly game is done, everything goes back into it.
就好像你玩这个游戏大富翁，你赚了很多钱，但是你不能带走的。
But when you have money, you're thinking about my children will inherit a lot of those money.
当你有钱的时候，你会想啊，我的孩子们都能够承受这些财产。
You thought it's a blessing, but sometimes it's a curse.
你认为是对他们是个祝福，其实就是很多时候是一个咒诅。
I also came at the very end here. Solomon says, "The more you have, the more you leave."
这里说啊，你越拥有越多，你就留下更多。
I came across this quote and would like to share that with you.
我看到这一段话，我来跟大家分享。
It says, "With money you can buy, but not."
知道你有钱你可以买，但是不能够买到。
With money you can buy a house,
用钱你可以买那个房子，
but not a home.
但是买不到那个家。
You can buy a clock,
你可以买那个时钟，
but not time.
但是买不到时间。
You can buy a bed,
你可以买到一张床，
but not sleep.
但是买不到睡眠。
You can buy a book,
你可以买到书，
but not knowledge.
但是买不到知识。
You can buy a doctor,
你可以买一个医生，
but you cannot buy health.
但是买不到健康。
You can buy a position,
你可以买一个地位，
but not respect.
但是买不到尊重。
You can buy blood,
你可以买血液，
but not life.
但是买不到生命。
Very true, isn't it?
这是不是很真实？
So to summarize,
所以总结一下，
don't blame God,
不要责怪神，不要埋怨神，
don't bribe God,
不要贿赂神，
do not be surprised by your government's actions,
不要因为你政府的行动你就惊讶，
don't put your hope in money.
不要把你的希望放在金钱上。
It is not wrong to have money,
有金钱并不是错，
but if you prioritize them over God,
但是你假如把它放在比神还首位的话，
that would be the problem.
那这个问题就出现了。
So what should we do? Where should we put our hopes in?
所以呢，该怎么做呢？我们把希望放在哪里呢？
Put our hopes in God. Clearly stated in verse 18 through 20 about the three things that you need to know about God.
18到19节很清楚地跟我们说，我们应该认识神的。
Your ability to earn money is God's gift to you.
我们能够赚取钱是神给我们的恩典，
Your ability to enjoy them is God's gifts to
你
you.
能够享用这金钱也是神的恩典。
God will fill our lives with gladness of heart.
神能够充满我们生命的内心的喜乐。
So here's what we need to start doing today.
今天我们开始要做的就是这些，
Use our God-given talents and work very hard to glorify Him.
用神给我们的才干，努
Each
力
one of
的
us,
去荣耀我们的神。
each one of us has God's given talent.
我们每一个人都有神赋予我们的才干，
Use them fully and glorify God.
用来荣耀我们的神。
We need to open our palm to God.
我们必须把我们的手掌张开向神，
Let Him fill that up abundantly.
让神充满的充满它。
Do not retract it and hold it to yourselves.
不要把手伸回来，就是保留给自己。
If we do that, He won't be able to fill that up again.
因为假如我们这样子做的话，神就不能够再给我们更多了。
So make sure you open your palms when God provides to you.
所以当神供给给你的时候，你要张开你这个手掌，
Share that with everybody else.
跟大家分享，
Share that with your neighbors.
跟你的邻居分享。
We're not just talking about money. We talk about caring. We're talking about love, just like what Jesus Christ did to us.
我们不只是当说今天我们受到照顾，我们的这个怜悯，就好像耶稣基督一样。
We should allow Him to keep filling it up, and people keep getting it from us.
我们应该让神不停的充满我们，让其他人可以不停的从我们取到支取。
Let's bow our head.
我们一起低头祷告。
Dear Heavenly Father,
亲爱的天父，
we thank you so much for the time.
我们感谢你今天早上时间，
Allow us to understand your words.
让我们能够认识你的话语，
Our hearts open up so that your words can be imprinted in ours.
让我们的心能够敞开，使到你的话语能够印在我们心上。
Lord, bless us,
主啊，赐福我们，
bless our talents.
赐福我们的才干，
Keep the talents with us so that we can serve you.
让这个才干能够用在你身上，
To serve you so that we can glorify you.
侍奉你，能够把荣耀带给你。
Share the riches to others.
我们的财富愿意跟其他人分享，
Our love to others.
我们的爱与其他人分享，
Our caring to others.
我们的关怀。
We pray in the name of Jesus
我们
Christ.
祷告奉主耶稣基督圣名求，
Amen.
阿门。